the 11th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Mekhi Becton.
Going down again. That's Q. Red Williams.
Fighting through contact, fighting through offensive line, being double team, multiple moves stacked into one. Just a play of pure domination. This is actual film. This is actual football talk. It's a football show. We're supposed to talk football, not storylines.
And you are listening to the 45th edition of Blitz. At least I believe. No, 46th. Say I'm wrong. 46th edition of Blitz. 42 plays this episode, 41 last episode. So we've been keeping them relatively short, especially when you have guys like Joe Flacco handing it to Frank Gore. You know, a lot of people know that they're not going to be here next year. At least we would hope. So going to keep it a little bit shorter when it's not about guys of the future. Obviously not a ton of Mekhi Becton, Quinn Williams didn't play. So it's going to be a little bit shorter. 7 games left. Cannot wait for these 7 games to be over, even though that game scared the hell out of me. It was the absolute perfect game for the Jets. Literally before the game, I was watching it with the fiance and I was saying, listen, competitive game, Jets lose on a game-winning field goal. What happened? Competitive game, Jets lose on a game-winning field goal. It was perfect. A little bit nervous for Week 17 playing the Patriots because they really had a shot to win that game. A little bit nervous for the Chargers just because of how often they blow games. I think their offense is way too high-powered for the Jets' defense, though, so that's the saving grace. But there's really only those 2 games that I'm really too nervous about. I could see the Raiders having a stinker. I could see the Browns having a stinker, but the Jets really are that bad, right? I don't think it's going to happen. I think they maybe win 1 game, but just pray that the Jaguars win another one. This week's a bye week, obviously, so we will not be having a show about the bye week, but on Sunday at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I will be doing a live stream with Marcus Coleman. So Marcus Coleman, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Sunday. Ask him whatever you want. I'm not taking phone calls that show, so it'll just be on the YouTube live, the Periscope and the Facebook Live. So if you guys want to type in questions, whatever it may be, favorite play of his career, whatever. Again, he played 11 years in the NFL, so you can ask him, whatever you want, and I'll relay it to him, or at least most questions, depending on what they are exactly. But that should be fun. JoRB31 on Twitter. I'm going to start putting up. I have like 120 plays that I have marked down to put up on my Twitter of some of the stuff I've been going over on this show with some of the young guys. So got to do that. So I'll be really active on there pretty soon. Email me, joe.blewett at jetsxfactor.com. I check that once a week or so. So if you have any questions or whatever, definitely drop those reviews. 7 more reviews or ratings. Send out a free t-shirt. So if you just want to obviously just go on there and write a sentence, you'll be in the running for that free t-shirt. If you listen every week, then I'll choose random and then just shoot me your shipping information. So to get into the game, because we want to get through this, because like I said, 7 games left. I'm excited to just keep moving, keep trucking forward. This game was a little bit more entertaining for sure. It wasn't like we were watching the Jets get blown out by the Bills or the Niners or any one of these other teams, the Chiefs. So this one was actually pretty competitive, which is pretty fun. But as you know, Jets lost 30-27. So when they lose, we start off with the duds. I almost did it this week where I was like, what, screw it. I'm just going to start off with the studs because this game is actually kind of fun. But I got to be true to the studs and duds segment. Duds, my number 3 dud of the game, Pierre Desir. Brutal this game. I still think there's a worse corner on this team than Desir, to be honest. I just don't think people want to admit that, but there is. But he did get my number 3 dud. So I always have to manage my windows. Okay. Beat corner out. Yeah, he got abused this game. So did Bless Austin. Like I said, I like Poole. I just think Poole might be a little bit overrated by Jets fans just because he's playing next to guys like Desir and Austin, so they're targeted more than he is. I think Poole is solid. I just don't think he's one of the best slot corners in the NFL. That's just my personal opinion on Poole. But it just is what it is. So top of the screen, obviously, right here. Pierre Desir and man coverage versus the Wide receiver who runs a corner route. He's playing off 5 yards. I'm okay with the off coverage. I'm even okay with the angle he takes to cut his guy off. I like to see the angle maybe a little bit more high here from this year. You don't want to see it. You don't want to see it so flat where he's going to get behind the guy. Especially in a position where it's only it's cover one. He doesn't really have a ton of help on the outside right here, especially if May is held in the middle or declares to the other side. So that happens where the angle's a little bit too aggressive, and then he starts to kind of lean into the guy, and his shoulders come a little bit high too right here, where he doesn't really stick on the route. He kind of just thinks it's shut down right here, and it looks like he just gets a little bit too high and passive. I'm not expecting that break, so he gets beat right there. Again, this is about a guy who is most likely not going to be here for the Jets next year, so I'm not going to spend a crazy amount of time on these type of players. This year, I only got 2 more plays of him. Again, this is going to be pretty short again. This year, beat 2nd and 9. Really infuriating. This has been happening since I've been watching Jets film. Is them playing off, opening their hips up and giving up breaks, right at the sticks. It's really frustrating to watch, and that's why a lot of people talk about Denard Wilson and him being if Greg Williams is promoted to, this is when they were talking about firing Gates. That I doubt they are now at this point, but Greg Williams will get, head coach, then Denard Wilson could be defensive coordinator. I don't know what people see from Denard Wilson that makes people think he's a good defensive backs coach. I think he got hyped up one time when he's coming from the Rams, and that's about it. And people have ran with that since 2015 or since whenever. But I don't see it in terms of development of defensive backs under the Jets. I just don't. And it's frustrating to watch them just consistently get beat on. Just run to the sticks. Just bottom right here. Desir always is playing on the defense's left or the offense's right, and Austin's always to the top. At least in this scenario, they don't really flip sides at all. But just run to the sticks and turn around, and you're pretty much going to beat the Jets. Whether that be an out, a comeback, a dig, a stop, whatever. Because they open their hips. If you sell their drive phase, they're going to open their hips. Sells the drive phase right here. He opens his hips up too early right here. Again, he gets into that shuffle almost immediately. And again, when you get into that shuffle immediately, you are not in position right here to guard anything to breaking out. I do not get why the Jets don't backpedal and throw T-steps or quarter steps to get out or downhill. They don't. They open. So they guard against deep stuff, which is why they don't necessarily get beat over the top a lot. But in terms of just giving up easy first downs, they do it all the time because of how they open their hips. Opens his hips up, out route, catch, first down. It's just that. It's always that simple. It really is. So it's pretty frustrating to watch. Definitely. 38. All right. Yeah, make sure you check out that live stream. I got some fun questions lined up for Marcus Coleman, and he's a really good dude. So we'll probably do from like 4 to 6:30-ish, probably to like halftime or a little bit after halftime of the 4 o'clock games. There's a ton of 4 o'clock games this week. It seems like there's like 4 1 o'clock games and then like 8 4 o'clock games, which is kind of perfect. Not really, actually. Maybe all the games should be at 1 because I can watch them. But then again, I get off of work at 8 o'clock in the morning, so I'll have to be like 4 hours of sleep. But this year beat, then no effort. Yeah, this is the play that was circulated around, and this is just a guy who does not care anymore, does not want to be here. Obviously gets stemmed inside, outside, stop route. Desir, because he always opens his hips up early, is never going to get hands on my guy, so he's not going to be able to feel breaks, and guys are always going to get clean breaks. Clean break, works back to the ball, catch, and Desir basically just figures, okay, well, he's running away from me. Somebody else will pick him up. I'm just going to jog. This is piss poor effort from a defensive back who just know he gets beat over and over again and sucks, and he's not going to be here next year. So I'm sure other teams are going to have fun with that when they're looking at him to sign him next year. That's going to make his stock go down a little bit. Marcus May, who, I'm just honest. I think he's a decent safety, but I don't think he's very good. I think he's okay. He stays a little bit he doesn't come downhill enough right here. He stays too high. And Bird just flattens out his angle and just runs past him because May does not come down at all. Now, in this situation, if Austin were to get blocked by 16 and he was able to loop around him, it would have been a touchdown, but Austin gets off of his block. The one thing about Austin is I do like his mindset. I do like his aggression. I do like his strength, but I have a lot of problems with his technique overall. So bad play by Desir, bad play by May on that one. My second dud of the game is Bless Austin. I thought he was brutal this game. I think he had one nice tackle, I believe in the screen game, but other than that, he was pretty bad. Again, he's been really bad this year. He'll make a nice play on the broadcast angle, and everybody will hype him up. But overall, he's been terrible. He's showing that he should be a 5th, 6th string guy, maybe a 4th string guy at best right now. And it's no fault of his own. Listen, he's a 6th round pick. If the 6th round pick sticks as a 4th or 5th corner, even a 6th string corner, it's honestly not. It's actually really not valuable, but that's a really good pick in terms of like success rates of 6th round picks. If your 6th round pick is on your roster after a year, that's a positive. Obviously, ideally, you want him to turn into like a Richard Sherman, who I think was drafted actually as a 5th round. But that's not going to happen. Just like every 6th round pick is not Tom Brady. But bottom of the screen, again, it's frustrating to watch how they play. This is 3rd and 5 situation. The Patriots have been going short all night. They've been beating at you at the sticks. Austin. Again, and it's his alignment too. It's not even just like opening his hips up too soon. He lets guys work into his blind spot. He plays an inside leverage when he's supposed to have outside leverage. He plays outside leverage when he's supposed to play inside leverage. His leverage is just so damn off. So he opens shuffle technique. His eyes are on the receiver initially when he steps at him. Then his eyes go inside. He opens up. He lets the receiver work completely into his blind spot. Doesn't see the break because he should see the break here, but his eyes are not on him. His eyes are inside. So he's late to feel that break. He sees Cam looking and loading up. That's why he breaks back. There's already this 4 or 5 yards of separation. And he just sits there. Look how long he sits there at the top of his break. Way too long. Then he makes a tackle. His leverage here and his eyes are awful. Opens. Eyes on the receiver, as you can see right here. He stems him into the blind spot. You never want people to be in your blind spot, and he's completely happy with him being in his blind spot. Opens again. Now he's looking inside. He's not looking at the receiver. He doesn't work his eyes back to him for a while. Sees Newton loading up to throw, and that's why he works back. And his eyes are still on the quarterback even as he's starting to work back to the receiver. Oh, he made a hit. Oh. Everybody, great job, Austin. You made a hit, but you gave up a first down. I'm not a big fan. I think like one of his like family members like came at me on Twitter. It wasn't this game, but one of the games. I was like, dude, that was a terrible play by Austin. He's like, oh, dude, F you couldn't do it, and that's exactly why I said on the show. Yes, I get. I'm not an NFL player, but to NFL standards, that's a bad play, and he quickly deleted all of his tweets. I try to follow him, but just to troll him a little bit, but he didn't do it. Austin beat again, bottom of the screen. Wow. Shocker. 2nd and 5. Austin to the bottom. I think does he like hop into his back pedal? He is one, he's really high in his back pedal. You see all this motion right here at the top of that, that break. That's not this is not how you're supposed to stop. You're supposed to, throw a T-step or a quarter step in your midline and work off of that step. But he hops back onto both heels to break back to the ball. And again, why are you giving up so much room? You're getting into a quick back pedal. Like if you're going to be this far off, that gives you the room to take read steps, take 2-3 steps backward, get really, really low into your stance, read the quarterback's drop. So if he was to play this far off, take his read steps, right here, 1, 2, 3, he would see the short drop. He would see him working. He would see this drop, and then he could drive to the ball. But because he's not good in his stance, he's not good with his eyes, he doesn't know what he's looking at, there's all this wasted movement right here. But if you're going to take this that far off, again, take read steps. Don't get into a full back pedal. Catch, turn up, first down, easy 7-8 yards. It happens way too frequently. It really does. It's infuriating to watch. At this point, and you have to blame someone on Bernard Wilson. It's been happening for 5 years with the Jets. Okay, I think I have like 2-3 more plays to Austin. All right, Austin beat 3rd and 6 right here, top of the screen. Again, he always plays on this side. And again, Jets players, their corners open their hips up too soon. Again, no man's land. You're either press, squat, play off, but don't be in no man's land where you're going to get within 2 yards of the guy and then start backpedaling, because then you take away your read steps, and you take away kind of the patience of your feet and being able to break at the top of the breaks. So you're playing off. He stems you inside with not even a good stem right here. He just releases right inside. You're forced to open your hips up because you're not close enough to get a shuffle in and get your hands on. He stems outside. Now again, because you had to open inside because you're so freaking far off. Now he stems outside, and now you're in oh shit mode. You have to open your hips up again, open up outside, and now you're in full run mode to go vertical. He stops. So again, good job by the receiver stepping inside, outside, and then stopping, because you're screwing with his hips because he's never got hands on and he's trying to make up ground instead of playing in a proper position to give him the advantage. Breaks back, catch. 3rd and 6. It's not good. 2 more plays. 33-39. I think it's actually a good rep by him. Again, I'll put good ones in there. They'll put bad. The one tackle I didn't put in there because it was a tackle. I'll admit that. I'm not gonna. Oh my God! Look, he hit a guy. Like, it depends on how good it is. But so even in this scenario, like, it's another situation where his hips are. This is good and bad. His hips are angled inside, and he's protecting against deep shots. But in terms of like him playing anything, dig inside, anything outside, whether it be speed out, come back, whatever. He's not in a position right here. Again, if he was a break outside right here, he's done. So I will preface this saying it's a good rep for deep coverage, but overall, in terms of short to intermediate, this is not good in my opinion. Hips are completely open. Looks to be reading the quarterback again. Lets the guy work into his blind spot. He speed turns. I like the angle that he takes when he speed turns right here. He doesn't cut it too flat. You'll have guys who will speed turn right here and work too flat to try to cut off the guy and then get blown right by him. So I like that he takes a high angle as he speed turns. Works to the near shoulder. Arm bars, goes over top. Looks back to the ball as he squeezes him to the sideline. Pass deflection. So good angle on the speed turn. Good job cutting him off. Getting hip to hip, squeezing him to the sideline, choking that route off, and then finding the ball and getting the pass deflection. So good rep right there for deep coverage for Austin. Hold 3rd and 9. It's about 3-4 first downs on 3rd down that Austin let up. It's just, again, so he's in pressing this guy, and just based on, again, really simple things. Hands are low to his knees. Base is way too shallow. And as soon as the ball is snapped, he gets back onto his heels. So you're retreating. Retreats, okay, is able to open up. Not the best release by the receiver. Opens up, gets hands on, but he holds him. It's just this looks like laziness to me, where he just holds the guy. Get hands on, stack him, completely, choke that route off by getting on top of him instead of just being happy working to the hip. You can't just hold a guy. That's just simple. There's really no explanation. Just let go of him. obviously refs are going to call a ton of things or call everything against DBs. You can't just hold a guy. Breaks outside, and because he's kind of just not jogging with them, they're obviously running faster than it looks because this is in slow motion, but he just happy holding on to the guy, breaks, not ready for that break, cuts outside, and now it's a hold. Again, now obviously first down for the Patriots. Continuing on with the duds, number one, again, Adam Gase going to give it to him every single game. I don't care. There's a couple of decisions, obviously, in this game. The biggest decision to me that just shows how much of a coward he is. I want to use a different word, but I won't. How much of a coward he is 4th and 3, midpoint or whatever it was in the first quarter. You were 0-8 and you punt the ball on the 40-yard line, on the team's other team's 40-yard line. You were in the green zone, 4th and 3. You're just moving the ball and you punt. You're 0-8. Why are you punting like that? I'm not going to get all mad and kind of have a fabricated segment about me being mad about this. That's just it's ridiculous. That is the most coward thing I've ever seen in my life. It really is. Other thing, 12 men on the field, giving up a first down, the field goal attempt again. Boyer, him, whatever. He's the overseer of the team. Some of the decisions late to pass the ball instead of running the ball. Again, if you were for the Jets actually winning, which again, I think is under 10% of fans. There's a lot of fans who come out and calling people phonies and stuff like that for rooting against the team to lose, but for rooting against the Jets, for rooting for them to lose. Jesus. Listen, if you're going to be happy with a win or two, because you're going to be happy for 5 minutes. Oh my God, the Jets won. Now we're 1-8. Yay. And then you go into the draft and you're the 3rd pick, and now you miss out on Lawrence again, who's the most highly touted prospect since 2012 in terms of the quarterbacking position. Or maybe you miss out on Fields now because you wanted a meaningless win on November 8th or whatever against the Patriots that nobody's going to remember. By all means, I'm not going to tell you how to root, but to call people phonies who are rooting against the Jets to win, those are the people who are smart, in my opinion, and who want long-term success for the Jets. And even if they don't want the quarterback, I want Donald. Okay, fine. Guess what you can get for the first overall pick with Trevor Lawrence coming out the most highly touted prospect in 8 years. Which again, I think if you're skipping on him to trade down and build around Donald, who hasn't shown much, that's on you. But just a little interesting with some of the Twitter interactions this week for sure. All right, continuing on to the studs. A couple of guys who I thought played pretty well this game. Again, who will not be mentioned in the studs, but I'll mention in the later segments. The third stud of the game to me was Lange. Had to be pretty impressed with him, obviously, coming in as a special teams guy. More of outside linebacker the first year and a half he played with the Jets. For this game, he was forced into more of that middle linebacker role, which I know he played a little bit earlier in the season, I believe, as well. But overall, pretty good game. It wasn't anything like drastically great, like technically wise or anything like that, but I thought his effort was great, and he played pretty good in the run game. In terms of the pass game, nothing great, but overall for a guy not playing a lot of snaps in the season and coming in and playing as well as he did, you have to be pretty impressed. Again, could be a guy who's decent depth, moving in the future, because he's not. I don't think he's a starter, in my opinion. But you want to see this from your depth guys. You want to see guys who go balls to the wall in every play, and that's what Lange was doing. So it's really, really nice to see him giving that effort. It really is like him and Ashton Davis, who brought a lot of energy to this defense. Obviously, Fatukasi played well too, but it was really nice to see Lange right here. Who's the Mike backer? Or actually, he's the Will on this play. He's the Mike. He's the Will. But they run the it's like a one back power, but it just does not work out. Everybody crashes inside. And again, this is just Jordan Jenkins. His awareness on the outside has been brutal, in my opinion, where he'll just take on the first line of contact. And right here, he should be reading the mesh point, reads the mesh point, sees the handoff, and work upfield to make the tackle. But he sees the polar and just takes on the polar. His eyes get so distracted by contact, it's absurd. he sees guys coming at him and he just takes them on. That's all you got to do to Jenkins is just run guys at him and he'll completely lose the ball carrier. Lange does a good job reading it, staying over the top. I think he dives for this tackle. Good. He has good athleticism. He has better athleticism than I thought that I remember him having. So good silent speed right here. Good job tracking the ball carrier down, diving, making a tackle. Again, this is back-to-back plays for Lange. One back power again, opposite side. I don't think the last play was one back. You almost categorize that more as like a sweep, really thinking about it. Again, well, this plays the backside. Reads his keys. Sees the down block, sees the puller. Sees the down block, sees the puller. Keys bring him to his left. Fills. Outside leverage, plants. Ducks his head, makes a tackle. Good job. It's really as simple as that. One more play of him again. I'll talk about him in some other plays of this review, but where I'm going to like isolate him on a play. These are the only two. Again, do people want to know a little bit about Lange? Sure. Do they want me to spend 30 minutes on Lange? I'm going to go with no. Lange effort. People say that, he missed a sack twice here. He missed a sack once. Obviously, is a free blitzer up the A gap. The Burkhead does a good job filling, cutting him. He doesn't miss the sack right here. He gets cut. Obviously, loses his balance a little bit because of the cut. Works back to Newton. A little bit too high. You'd like to see him stay on his feet right here and wrap him up instead of jumping for him. Cam obviously ducks it. So you want to see a little bit better of a tackle attempt right there. Newton gets out of it, chucks the ball, gets it to his receiver who sits his route down. And Lange's effort right here is awesome. From right here to continue to keep his feet turning and chase down Newton after he didn't miss the sack. A little bit too high, falls down, continues to track, sees the ball carrier, continues to sprint, makes a tackle. That is awesome. It's fantastic. So hell of a job by Lange. He gets the third stud of the game. Second stud of the game, I gave it to Denzel Mims. 4 receptions, 62 yards. Again, you have to be really, really happy with what you've seen from him so far through 3 games now. Let's see him more. You'd like to see him targeted more in the second half. But it is what it is. Again, I think he's playing a little bit too much slot. I don't remember. Obviously, I watched this game. I expedited. I did it pretty quickly, but I know the first 2 games he was getting a little bit too many reps in the slot. But overall, I have to be really, really happy with him. This is just a slant versus Jason McCourty is 30. Pretty good break. I would like to see him sell his drive phase a little bit more and hold him a little bit more with his eyes instead of peeking inside the entire time. But regardless, he is able to get break drive. His foot is pretty much under his frame, or relatively decent under his frame. So pretty tight break right there in the slant. Ball's out in front of him. Again, his ability to just contort his body and make catches that aren't really that easy look easy is ridiculous to me. Like, this isn't necessarily the easiest catch. This is definitely a little bit too far in front of him. But again, extension, length, body control, good. You see how his hands are tight right here, or tighter. He's not like Chris Herndon trying to catch a ball like this, or however Chris Herndon tries to catch a ball, like literally like this on the one play. Nice tight hands. So good job with that. Good job extending the ball, looking the ball in, catches it. Again, he's catching the nose, tucks it immediately, stiff arm, duck under McCourty's tackle attempt. And he could have maybe ran for more yards right here too. So again, good power, good stiff arm, works past that. If he did not trip over his feet right here, like they trip over each other's feet, sit it right there. Like his feet get tripped up. Maybe I probably not, because he's having to accelerate all over again while the other McCourty brothers already running, but they trip. But great job on the slant. Great job catching the ball again. Catches the nose of it, tucks it, stiff arm. stiff arm run. And this is something that people will say, and I know why people say this because it's the stat stuff, but oh, well, he wasn't a big yak guy at Baylor. Okay. Is there a reason why he was not a stat guy or a yak guy at Baylor? Yes, there is. The reason that he ran so many freaking fades in that offense that how many guys get a lot of yak off fades? You catch the ball, you go down. He wasn't running a lot of slants and overs and drags and things like that are conducive to getting yak yards. It's like, oh, he's a yak guy now. He couldn't do that at Baylor. No, the offense that he was in was not conducive to him getting yak based on the routes he was running. So that's a huge reason why he was not a big yak guy at Baylor, because of the routes he ran. Wins top. Oh yeah, top of the screen right here. Again, a little better releases this game for sure. Gets even off the line. Runs his feet a little bit more like a rocker step right here at the end, where he's gonna drive off that end step, cross his face, and then explode inside. So you have like a little bit of like a foot, like a get even into a foot fire rocker step type deal. Gets even, foot fire, rocker. Good job being prepared to, as he's crossing the face, as you're going to cross the face, you're going to beat a guy. Their last ditch effort is going to be to throw their hands. So good job by Mims being ready for the hands. Swipes the hands away, works vertically. There's some pressure, but right here, if he wasn't pressured or he didn't roll out to the right, is Mims open deep? Yes. He was open deep right there for potentially, a 80 or 79 yard touchdown. So good job attacking the leverage. Again, the guy's a little bit outside, so he almost it's like a get even more, or maybe even a shuffle if he works a little bit towards him. Again, there's so many different terminology for different releases in terms of like how they attack leverages and things like that. So get even, shuffle technique, runs his feet, crosses the face, active hands, works vertically, beats his guy deep, and then Flacco checks it down to whoever this is. So continuing on. 14. Push route. Okay, yeah. So this is anything like crazy. Like this is not something that people are like, oh my god, and puts on a highlight film for Mims. But it's something like a little technical thing about route running that I did like to see from him. So they run a mesh concept, or you can even call it more of unders because of how I would call it more of an unders concept, just because of how far they work, or how far distance they are in terms of these two drags, which is unders is a mesh concept that's a little bit different, because again the alignment, but unders. And the thing I like about what Mims does right here is he pushes his route enough vertically. A lot of guys who are not patient with their routes would break this too shallow and then allow the defensive back who's in man coverage to just get right on their hip and stream them, as they call it, just get right on his ass for the mesh concept. That's what you want to do, to guard against the natural rubs and things like that. But he does a really good job holding him vertical and pushing a little bit vertical right here to make him in a tough position where if he was to just cut this too flat, he would work to his ass. Where again, he does a good job staying patient, working up the field a little bit first, and then breaking underneath right here. So he works vertically and then breaks underneath, putting him in a tough spot. Whereas if he was just to break it too far underneath at the 45-yard line right here, it would have made the decision for the corner. Now the corner's in a shitty position where he kind of has to avoid the natural rub right there that's created by the mesh. And again, in a situation where, Adoga held right here too, because Adoga opens his hips up too early and didn't really frame his rusher well, didn't split him with his outside foot. So if you're looking at Adoga, not a good job right there opening up. You want to see him get to his set point, split him, and shoot instead of opening up his hips, forces the hold. Now, if there's a scenario where Flacco was looking at Mims the entire time, and again, I'm freaking keep itching my nose. My heat started blasting in my house, so it's bothering the shit out of me. But if in a scenario where he was looking towards Mims, what happens? He leads Mims, and he gets hit right here instead of getting hit here and to his back shoulder. He would get hit, and even if it was a little bit later, even if it was here, he would lead him, and then Mims would turn and run up field for extra yardage. I don't think he gets the first down here. Yeah, he doesn't, and it's third down. So again, in a scenario where Dogo is a better blocker, this is most likely a first down. So really good job just pushing the route right there. I like that a lot. It's a little thing, but I did like that looking at that. Let's see. 3 more plays of Mims. Oh, this is where they run this like deep stop route right here from Mims. Again, he really does remind me of AJ Green. How physical he is, how lanky he is, his body control, his ability to catch the balls outside of his frame, the yak ability. AJ Green had some of that as well. The ability to go up and get the ball, contested catches. I'm excited for Mims. Right here, again, with a little bit of a reduced split. Corner has outside leverage. Takes one hard step towards the corner, which opens up his hips. He takes that open hip, the open gate, runs vertical. There's like he was clocked as like a 4.38 or whatever the hell he was clocked at. Do I think he's that fast? No, but I think we're picking at straws where it's maybe he's like a 4.4 guy. But still really, really good speed in terms of a guy being like 6'2", 6'3", and 210 plus. He's got really good speed. So stems him, takes the inside, and again, there's a difference. You gotta look at routes, and are they running at 90, 95, 99, 100, 85, 75, and see how quick their breaks are. Because if you're running a sharp break at 75, yeah, that's great. But is it as good as a guy running 95% and doing a sharp break? Julio Jones is ridiculous in terms of selling his drive phase and getting out of his breaks. It's absurd how freaky that guy is. So stems, takes the inside, stop, and look at his drive phase. Like, he is selling right here. Look how you see how freaking hard he's pumping down the field. I want people to notice how hard he's selling that drive phase. Because if he's not, maybe this DB doesn't open up as much as he does. But this is really important how well he sells that, because he is trucking downfield right here. Impressive. And it's not just impressive because he's driving down the field. How quickly he gets out of his break right here, and I'll show the technique of, like, it's impressive how good he gets out of his break considering his drive phase, and his technique is not fantastic. And he still does a really good job. That's pretty quick to get out of that break. Now, in terms of the break, like the actual technique of it, again, he sits down a little bit into that break. You see the stop step. I think it's a little bit overextension right here. He's lunging into it a little bit. You want to see that again, slam more down, and you want your knee to be more over your toe, come over your toe instead of being so far extended. So I think he's a little bit overextended right here with his body a little bit too upright. And he's sitting it back a little bit again. So he is leaning over his knees, but he's sitting it back a little bit. I want to see him more condensed than over his stop steps, but stop, 3 stop steps. So 1, 2, 3. The only thing I would say is he's leaning out of it a little bit too soon, but then he breaks and works back to the ball. Again, the craziest break, no, but in terms of bad technique or technique that can be improved, plus the how well he's selling his drive phase right there, is a really impressive break. It really is. When this is cleaned up, which it will be, he will continue to learn route running. He's going to be. I think he's a freak. I do. 1, 2, yeah. Again, just watching it from this angle, how quickly he's out of these breaks with not the best technique is absurd. The ball is in an awkward spot, so he does jump back to the ball. Ideally, you don't want to see him catch it with his body, but it is what it is. He makes the catch. It's going to happen sometimes where you're not really sure how to catch it. Could he have worked back to the ball and squatted a little bit and went overhand? Yes, but he does still catch it. Obviously, tuck it. It brings the ball in. See, 22. Mims gets open. Reduce split right here. Outside leverage or the corner. Let's see what he does. Just another get even, almost like a split release. Well, a split release would really be him bringing this foot halfway back and this foot halfway up. But he brings his foot up to even and then just releases inside. That's all he does. Get even, speed release inside. Stems vertically. Again, and a good job stemming vertically and then breaking inside, because a lot of guys right here on the, what is this, an over? Yeah, a lot of guys in the over right here are just going to release inside and work over. And this guy's just going to work up to their hip. But because he gets inside and then sells vertical and curves this up and bends this up, now this corner is going to work vertical, and it gives him that extra kind of space at the top of the break, knowing that he's going to break here. Whereas if he were to get inside and then just start bending this, the corner is going to know that he's running the over route and to just work on his hip. Where again, now that he's holding on vertical, he has that split second at the top of the break to create more separation. So good job getting vertical. A little bit of like a peek technique, looks outside, prepares for any hands that might come. Drops. Good job getting in that drive step under his frame. Explodes inside. And again, is open. You have a little bit of pressure right here because Adoga gets bull rushed. Steps on a foot of Lewis a little bit, gets a little bit off balance, and gets bull rushed. Play action, which again, Flacco does a really good job of selling. That's something that Darnold does not do. To be honest, again, I'm being brutal honest. Darnold rarely sells play action, does not make guys bite on a lot because he does not sell it well. He sells it well. Again, you can't see the ball like that. That's great. Sells it. Now, if he had more time right here, again, what happens? They run a deep mesh concept. He's working on the over. What happens? Leads him. He's a yard or two of separation. He catches it. He turns upfield. But because there's pressure from Adoga again, he can't step into the throw. The ball is too high. He sails it. Where again, if it was leading him at this point, is this a touchdown? Catches it, turn upfield? I would say probably. If I had to guess, if this ball is led right here, maybe not. Jackson he's decently fast, so maybe it's not a touchdown. But we just saw a catch where it could have went for more yak yardage for a first down, and we saw another 20 to maybe 30-yard catch that was eliminated because of the quarterback not being able to step into the throw because of the tackle. So these are things you got to look at. Mims had a good game. Last play of Mims, at least in this segment. Yak. Again, and he's a guy, like in terms of his route running, he needs improvement. He needs to get used to routes because, again, Baylor didn't run a ton of routes. But he's going to be a guy who's going to be able to be vertical, deep over, curls, slants, screens. Like, I think he's going to be able to do everything. He's not just a vertical threat. He's really not. So works over from the right side of the screen from the boundary side, right here on the shallow cross. Again, Lewis got beat up again this game. Not as bad as previous, but there's too much of him retreating while he throws punches. Makes his punch not strong. Arm gets chopped. They run a stunt because his arm gets chopped and he's off balance. He's not able to pass this off where he was, obviously, to maintain more balance. He would be more upright. He would stop this more, stop the penetration. Adoga would be able to step in, grab it. He would be staying square, pick up the stunt. But because Lewis could speed right here, it kind of, there's pressure in Flacco's face. Flacco has to, obviously throws it to Mims. Good job by Mims catching the ball. That's not necessarily the easiest catch. Turns upfield. J.C. Jackson coming at a hard angle over the top. He sees that, plants, stiff arm. Runs forward for another, let's say, 5, 7, 8 yards. Good job. Great job by Mims this game, for sure. Number one stud of the game. I only got 4 plays of him, but Brashad Perriman, you have to give it to him. He did have a drop, which I'll show, but 5 receptions, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. That should have been 3 touchdowns. You got to give him the number one stud. The first play that I will show is the drop, which was his fault. Obviously, it's not the easiest catch, but overall, it was his fault. Top of the screen, runs the vertical. This is I show this again, and if you've been watching every single show, you've seen this really so many times. I've shown it with this hop step. He loves this hop step release where he drives off of the front foot and then screws up the DB's timing, because DBs think that now this foot's going to come all the way up and he's going to break off of that outside foot. But he loves to hop off of that right foot, come up halfway, and again, drive off of that right foot. That's the hop step. Hop step, outside, eats up that space to the DB, gets on his toes. DB hops back with his hands down, screws up the timing a little bit, gets outside, defeats the hands, punches over, and then just uses speed to get over top. Again, if Perriman's healthy, and if this is more of what you're getting every game, even the Bills game, we only had 4 receptions for 32 yards, whatever the hell it was. If Donald hits him on that one over route, you're looking at 5 receptions for 80 yards. You know, like it's one play that can make a difference with the stat people who just go type in Google the stats. And it's another thing with Donald. We'll talk about this game a little bit. Is like, oh well, he had Crowder, Mims, and Perriman, so Donald would have done just as well. If people are so black and white in terms of their thinking, where there's no gray area, where there's no area for logical discussions, where okay, Perriman was open on some of these plays that Flacco threw absolute dimes to, where Donald there at times wouldn't have seen him, wouldn't have been able to throw it, would have scrambled out too early. Like if you just think that, oh, well, the receivers being here was the only difference, that's why Flacco played better than Donald did any game this season, you're crazy, in my opinion. Again, I've had plenty of plays. You know, if this is your first time, go back to the shows. You think I'm crazy. There's plenty of plays that I show of guys running wide open with 5 yards of separation that Darnold's looking at them and doesn't throw the ball. So what does it make a difference if it's Perriman running with 2 yards of separation, or Cager on a dig route against the Broncos running with 5 yards of separation and he doesn't throw the ball? Because his name is Perriman. Again, it's just Madden. He has a red glowing light over his head when he's open, so Darnold can see him. Again, not killing Darnold too much, but let's be fair. Darnold's been, and we say it a lot on the live stream, I thought he could have been a top 5 quarterback in the league coming out. And after his rookie year, I was really, really excited. And I thought he was going to be the long-term guy for the Jets. But the last, year of his career, even at the end of last year, like playing the Bills backups, these games towards the end of the season weren't pretty. Like I watched him against the Bills and the Steelers, and I was like, ugh, like this is not great quarterbacking at all. And now coming into this year where he's had 2 okay games, with the 49ers game and the Chiefs game, he was okay. But other than that, he's been bad. Like the Broncos game was terrible. The Colts game was terrible. So, but regardless, he wins outside and vertical. Just pure speed. And this is the guy you're getting. If he was healthy, which is the problem with him, it's not his skill. I don't think it's the health. If he was healthy 16 games, I think he's a 1,000-yard receiver. I do. I like Perriman more than other people do. So if he were to resign here, let's say for another $8-9 million contract, and you have Perriman, and maybe that should have some injury, not settlements, but clauses or whatever in it. But Perriman, Crowder, Mims, and then you bring in like another rookie, like second round guy, and you're 4 deep like that with Barrios as a backup, your 5th guy. I'm happy with that receiver group. I think you should bring in another body though, who could play starters types of reps. Again, beats his guy. The problem with this is he doesn't look the ball in fully. You're going to see this from a different angle. I think that's a little bit better in terms of him looking the ball in. So he tracks the ball. Problem is he isn't looking in fully. You see his eyes get a little bit lost right there, where he's not looking the ball in. He doesn't look into his hands. You see his eyes are not on the ball. So little things like that. You want to look into your hands. And again, he goes to look towards where he is in terms of his relation to the field before he actually looks the ball. And you got to secure the catch first. So doesn't look the ball in, and that's why he drops it. Again, not an easy freaking play to make, coming overhand like that and working over top of the corner's hands, but you do want to see him catch this. So good job, good route, but you want to see him finish. Three more plays of him. 19. Stutter go. This is right after the Mims stop route. So good job setting up this play in terms of running the stop, and then same formation with that condensed split and running well, at least on this side. I don't know if this was a slot formation on the bottom, but same to the top. Yeah, and I like him, and it's not just because of this game. I said even everybody goes to his Buccaneers, and you hear the same thing reiterated by 95% of people. Oh, well, those last 5 games, Jameis Winston's just chucking the ball up to him. There's plays during the first freaking 10 weeks of the season where he's getting open. He burned Darius Slay, he burned whoever else, but he's the 3rd or 4th read because you had Godwin, Evans, and O.J. Howard, and even Brate to a certain extent. Was it Brate? Yeah, Brate to a certain extent, where he wasn't being looked at. So he was getting open those first couple of weeks. He just wasn't being targeted. Like, I hate hearing that over and over again, because I think Perriman's better than people realize he is. Again, this is one of the guys where I'll stand against people a little bit with maybe guys like May and Bless Austin and Poole, but I'll stand against people a little bit for guys like Perriman, Fant, Van Roten. But corners playing heads up to outside. Looks like a little bit outside leverage right here in press. Skip release to the outside. So good job stemming him outside. Because again, if you want room inside, you got to move him outside. If you want room inside, you got to set him outside. Obviously, there's situations where that could be different, but in this situation where he's outside leverage, that's fine. Skip release outside. Gets the corner to angle his hips off outside. He takes inside, works vertical, patters the feet. 1-2. You can see the corner goes to break inside to contest that break, to crowd that break right there. And he continues vertical. Beats him by a yard or 2. Flacco throws a dime. Touchdown. So let's watch the route in full speed. Again, skip, stem him outside, take vertical, 1-2, slows down the corner, tracks the ball, catch, touchdown. Awesome play. Fantastic. 26-31. Perriman speed. Okay, so you just know pretty much a pure speed right here, which again is, guys running 4 threes. It's literally all he does is stem completely vertical, and then the corner opens his hips up, and he's going to take that outside. If you're going to give him this much room outside, this much green grass to the sideline, he's going to take it. That's all he does. It's just pure speed, and then just tracks the ball. And good job right there at the hand too, right? Where was it? Right there. Bah. Good peripheral vision to see that hand coming. Continues to work over the top. Now, this is a pass interference. They get tripped up a little bit. Again, is it not? It's a little bit of a soft call. My thing with this is too, okay, so Perriman should have had that other touchdown that he dropped. This ball, if this is a better ball from Flacco, again, being fair, this is the green grass. It's the sideline. When you're throwing vertical, you want to throw outside. You want to lead them obviously vertically and outside. You don't want to throw it inside, especially when the guy's coming from inside. You don't want Perriman to have to work back through the corner. You want to throw it to the open area. So not a good ball by Flacco, because if he did not have to gear down right here, you can see clearly gears down and is tracking the ball and has to work back to it. See what I'm saying? Like if you don't see that he's gearing down right here, I don't know what you're watching. And if this is more toward, let's say, the 7 to 5 yard line, he's running this ball in for a touchdown because he is jogging right here. Not jogging, but maybe running 70%, 75%. So bad ball by Flacco. This could have been another touchdown for him. There's the hold. Okay. That's what they've seen because he's literally grabbing that inside arm, that left arm. Flacco needs to throw a better ball on that one. All right, one more play. Shuffle release. Okay, changing up the releases a little bit here. Bottom of the screen. Yeah, shuffle release. Again, so you just square the corners like a little bit outside leverage, and you're just squaring them up with that shuffle release, where he's keeping the foot that's up while he's working outside, which is going to shuffle outside. So shuffle release to square him up. Now, if that back leg stayed back and he was working straight vertical, I call it a dead leg release, but this is a shuffle release. And he literally breaks the corner's ankles. Turf Monster got him. Shuffles, he hops back because he's challenging his leverage, and that hop back causes him to trip, and he's wide open for a touchdown. That's because of the release was a part of that. If he didn't challenge him and make him hop back like that, then he doesn't trip like he does. So he breaks his ankles with the shuffle release. 1, 2, takes the outside, breaks his ankles, completely wide open, easy touchdown. Again, could have legitimately had 4 touchdowns this game. If Flacco leads him the last play, if he catches the other one, he could have had a 3-4 touchdown game, which is fantastic. Obviously, it's you have 3-4 touchdowns in a game, or even 2. The 2 that he had, that's a great game for a receiver. Any receiver, 2 touchdowns over 100 yards is great. Bad from the offense. I put Lewis in there. I showed a play of him before. Maybe I'll show another one. Herndon completely absent. Perrine is a guy who I think sometimes he takes what's there. Well, no, not even takes what's there. Sometimes he makes some plays that are pretty generic, to be honest. Or I'm not going to show plays of him like hitting holes that are wide open unless he's setting it up well. I see more missed plays from him than I see plays that are plus plays, and he doesn't see holes that are there, in my opinion, at times. Again, he doesn't keep active eyes, and he'll kind of just duck his head into the first area that he can get a yard or two. Where on plays like this, I want to see him have more patience. Zone plays, you want to have patience. Again, reading the DB's leverage, or not the DB's, the defense's leverage as you're taking his handoff is what at this point? Is what? Outside. He has inside leverage on him. He's working over the top. At this point, again, he has to. He's closer. He doesn't have a bird's eye view of this, so he's going to take a little bit longer to read this. But running backs are expected to read this. And it's not even here. It goes to here. What's going to be more open right here? A cutback. Bend the run back. Don't just run into this whole contested area, because if he were to press this a little bit and then cut the run back, this guy again is working over the top. He has inside leverage, inside, and he has place side leverage on him. This cutback lane is open. See what I'm saying? He just buries himself into traffic because he doesn't keep active eyes. Right here, make a decision, cut back. So not very impressive, Perrine. Again, I'm a guy who I said I liked him coming out of college, but so far, and again, early into his rookie year, earlier, halfway through his rookie year, he has something to develop. But overall, I haven't been overly impressed with him. The bad from the defense, Huff was a little more quiet in this game. I put him as one of the bads. I know he had a good play or two in coverage. Well, not really, to be honest. I saw the play in coverage. He dropped into an intermediate hook zone and made a tackle. It wasn't anything great. A little bit more quiet this game. I would have not really even mentioned him if he didn't get beat for the touchdown, but the fact that he was quiet and then gave up a touchdown, I did put him in the bad from the defense. Again, relative to expectations, it's not really that bad. He's getting snaps as an undrafted guy. I'm really excited for his future, but this game, he struggled a little bit. Read option from the Pats. He's on the edge right here. He's got to pinch down the mesh point, but he cannot get beat outside. Again, if he hands this inside, this is not your responsibility for Huff. Your responsibility is this left edge, the right of the offense. Again, he hands it off. You have guys here who should be making the tackle, specifically Davis right here. Or not Davis, Lange. pinches too far inside. Newton reads that. The hips, him working inside, knows he can take the edge on him, takes the edge on him, outruns him, stiff arms him too, touchdown. So he can't pinch so far out inside. I'm fine with him shuffling, but you got to make sure you're not going to get outflanked outside of you. So gets beat for the read option. Hewitt, I thought, had a few missed tackles in this game, 2 or 3. Didn't look great. Again, I think he's a backup type player. Jenkins, I showed on the 1 rep. He looks lost on some reps. May overall was quiet this game. I have 2 miscellaneous plays from the defense. Jets blown D. Again, let's see what this is. This looks like it's supposed to be Tampa 2, but the Jets defense all gets sucked up. Because it wouldn't make any sense for it to be man, because then he wouldn't pass this off, and he wouldn't be passing this off, and he wouldn't just be turning into that Tampa role. So the Jets defense gets sucked up. This year, which this looks like it's going to be like an inverted cover 2, where he's going to be deep. He's going to be deep half. He's going to be deep half, and then he's a cloud and he's going to pass it off. So him being the cloud and passing that off, May has to get over top of that because he doesn't. Which one? In this situation, there's no 2 threats, so I don't know why he's passing this off, to be completely honest, from Austin. So Austin shouldn't be passing this off, but regardless, he does. May has to get over the top. Desir passes off the seam route to May, who is over top of this one. He gets sucked. The linebacker gets sucked up, so he can't match the seam. Nobody picks up the seam. And again, if this ball is on target, the Jets just got beat for a 73-yard touchdown, but Cam Newton misses the throw. Unacceptable. It can't happen. 41. Hall, Davis. This is the play ripe to set up the field goal. I didn't give Davis or Hall or anybody a dud for this because they played overall well, but this is a blown play by the defense. Again, like 8 seconds left in the game. You cannot be giving up plays like this. And again, for fans who wanted the Jets to lose and play competitively, this is what we wanted. But in terms of the actual team, they shouldn't want this. Excuse me. I don't like the alignment right here, but it looks like you have a cover 6 where you have half, quarter. I would see him stay more over the top of the 1 if this was a quarter. So I don't like the alignment right here. That's what it looks like, a cover 6, or people call it a 42 defense too. People try to get fancy. 42 cover, quarter, half, cover 6, whatever. They're all the same thing. The couple things about this is Lange's only responsibility right here, the 2. There is no 3 threat, and he's not going to be matching the 1. So Lange, in my opinion, should not be so aggressive on this play. Again, considering it's 8 seconds left, you don't want guys to get behind you, and you want to stay over the top of them. I don't like that Lange doesn't press. And if he presses and he retreats like a hinge technique, I'm fine with that. But he needs to stay over the top of his guy. So I think Lange has bad coverage right here, where Lange lets his guy get outside of him. You have Hall, who, again, it's a situational awareness. This is him being a rookie and playing his first game in over a year. He sees the 2 coming out and then starts to work towards that or get his eyes on that. And he passes off the number 1 to Davis. So a few problems here. Again, you want Lange to stay more over the top of this and choke this off. You want Hall to be aware that, okay, even if he does catch this ball, at this point, rally, make the tackle, and it's a 57-yard field goal. So he has to stay over the top. He has to stay over the top of the number 1. And now going to Davis is, that they're trying to get to the 45, 40, 35-yard line. Why are you at the 30? Listen, if he wants to chuck the ball deep, then the ball's gonna be in the air for longer. You're gonna run with them, make the tackle, and then the game is over. You know that they're trying to get to the 35-ish yard line, 35 to 30, or let's just say anywhere from the 40 to 30. You cannot play this far deep. He's giving him way too much space, 13 yards of space right there. So he gets way too deep. He doesn't match like he's supposed to. He again, it's a little bit because of him. He needs to stay over the top. He needs to carry this situational awareness, and he cannot be so far deep. He's too far deep. He runs a dig, sits it down in a soft spot, catches it at the 33-yard line, and then they run up. Where again, if he were to make this, let's say he were to break outside and make this catch, then he gets to the max 40 if he makes a tackle, and that's a 57-yard. So he shouldn't pass this off. He needs to stay over the top, way too deep from Davis. They attack the inexperience right there and kick the game-winning field goal after that. Good from the offense. Flacco had to put him in here. Obviously, there were some plays he didn't make. Again, that deep throw at Perriman should have had that. But overall, 18 for 25, 262 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 brutal interception. But again, I think the best game that the Jets quarterback has played this season. It's just, regardless of weapons, whatever you want to make excuses for Darnold for, this is the best game. He threw some dots. I got 3 plays of him. There's 2 plays on Mims too that I didn't show Crowder getting open. I got a little bit distracted, but there's a play or two where Crowder did get open that I completely forgot to show when I was talking about Mims. I remember marking that down, but I forgot. But Crowder's getting open too. Crowder's on the bottom right here. Outside release and just runs a corner route. This corner is too far inside, in my opinion, and opens up and gives him the outside. So especially with his corner, with another DB inside, he wants to play more outside and funnel it inside. So not a good job of this defensive back, but Crowder takes the outside, runs the corner route. Flacco reads the leverage. He throws the ball. When he sees this, over the top, outside, he's going to throw outside because he's running a corner route. Throws. This is the best throw of the year. I know Darnold had that one play against what game was that? When he threw, was that I forget what game that was. He threw a really nice ball. Whatever game that was. I think this is better. This is a ridiculous throw. Absolutely ridiculous. So great freaking ball by Flacco. Again, good job reading the leverages, knowing that he's going to be open. Over top and outside. That is absurd throw. That's as good as it gets. Good job by Crowder tracking the ball. Toe taps. Cradles the ball. Awareness of the sideline. Drags the foot. I saw this on live. I was like, no. There's no way he was in because it's such a small area that he got in. Perfect spiral right into his hands. Catch. Drag the feet. Absolutely beautiful play. This is probably the best play of the year in terms of like a throw and a catch. I think. Off the top of my head, I think it is. I showed some of the other plays of Flacco, who just did a good job delivering the ball, getting it where he needed to be. This play is not a good one. The interception. Again, if this was Darnold, I would have spent more than 3 plays on it. But again, situational awareness, interception, 6 minutes left, up 7, 1st and 10. What do you want to do? The Pats just went on a long drive. I think they took like 6-7 minutes off the clock. You want to take time off the clock. Again, unless you're a fan of the tank, which Flacco is. Again, give us some exciting throws and then throws an interception. Play action. Good job selling it. Turns. The Patriots look to be running an inverted cover 2 with the corner deep and the safety deep. They run a Yankee concept here with the deep over and the post. He thinks that that this corner or the safety, I believe this is a safety, is going to drive on the over, but he doesn't. He's going to pass it off to the safety right here, which I believe is McCourty right here. So he picks up the post, picks it up, he throws it into double coverage, and the ball is intercepted. But again, why are you forcing this in a situation where you're up 7? I get that you see him with inside leverage, but you have to read the safety or this defensive back. So I get this, but if he has such far inside leverage, does he have help here? Probably. He doesn't see that, throws the ball, where if you look underneath, what do you have? Well, let's look everywhere else. If he throws the ball, if he's looking and going to throw the ball at this point, he has this deep over to get to the 35-yard line. And again, now you're working into field goal position. This is on first down, mind you. So that's easy 15 yards right there. Oops, sorry. You have this wide open. Again, catches the ball, turns up, probably runs for first down. You have Gore open, doesn't throw it. So he has 3 guys he got to fit. 1, 2, 3. Him a little bit earlier. Instead, he chucks it up to Mims, forces it for an interception. Again, fan of the tank, but in terms of quarterbacking, not good. One more play. Situation where you cannot take a sack. 2nd and 2, 1:29 left, and takes a sack. Where again, in this situation, this is a terrible play. He choked at the end. Like that last interception in this play is awful. It's 2nd and 2. There's a minute and a half left in the game. You want to continue to drive, to kick a field goal. What does he do? Tries to force a ball deep, or he looks deep instead of just taking what's given to him. Drops back, reads the defense, doesn't see anything he wants to throw. He doesn't want to, this safety can bite down on this. He doesn't want to throw that. This guy's over the top. He doesn't want to throw this. So what should he do? Look underneath. P. Ryan is wide open. Check it down. He catches the ball. He turns up to the 40-yard line, and now it's a minute and 20 left, and I believe they still have timeout to this point. You have a minute and 20 seconds left on the 40-yard line to get 25 to 30 yards. He doesn't throw it. He takes a sack. Now it's 3rd and whatever instead of first and 10 from the 40-yard line. Again, P. Ryan's open for a while right here, and he has a pretty clean pocket. Now Adobe gets beat again because his punch is awful. He's punching to the inside shoulder with 2 hands. I didn't put him on my bad from the offense this game, but after watching a couple of the plays and breaking it down as I did, because again, I record these and just run through them and label them. He had a bad game. Him and Lewis had a bad game. But everybody else, like McGovern, Van Roten, and Fan all had good games. He gets beat. He's ragdolled. Lets up the sack. But again, Flacco doesn't see anything deep. Check it down, buddy. He's open. He's wide open for a while. Bad. That's not good. Moving on. I put Fant. I put Greg Van Roten. I have one play of Greg Van Roten that I thought was pretty nice that I want to show, or Greg Van Roten and Connor McGovern in this play. Pass protection. So McGovern engages with the 1 tech, hands inside. 99 gets under his pads a little bit. Rushes the big A gap to the 1 tech's right. McGovern drops that back foot, opens his hips up, attacks the ribs, and trucks his guy to the ground. So he does get not the best right here where he gets lifted up a little bit and he lets some penetration into the A gap, but good recovery, good just athleticism. Trucks him. Like to see that. And then obviously you have Van Roten drag hand to the left. Sees it. McGovern picked it up, scans to the right, plows. Good job by McGovern. I like his physicality. I do. He likes to do these type of things. Plows him, sends him flying. That's nice. It's good to see. This is always fun to see in the front 7. 2 guys flying. 1, 2. Clean pocket, dumps it off to Gore. It's like GVR, McGovern. I said Adoga may, but gave up a hold in a sack. He gave up plenty of plays or gave up pressures. I put him in the bad from the offense. I take that back. Gore overall, I thought he played pretty well. Crowder had that one beautiful touchdown catch, but he's opened another couple times that he was not targeted because Mims was targeted. Becton good when he was in, but I think this is not, again, one of his, like, the game against the Chiefs and this game were decent games, but his games against like the Niners, the Bills, whoever else in the beginning of the season were better. He's struggling a little bit with injury right now, I think, because he hasn't been as good. He's been solid. Again, do not get me wrong. I don't want people to go crazy, but there are a few plays where his technique is coming back to bite him a little bit because he's maybe doesn't have the physicality he had pre-injury just because of, obviously he's playing injured. They need to listen. If he's injured at all, sit him. And this is a problem with having a coach who wants to win and either keep his job or continue to build, air quotes, build his resume for an offensive coordinator job or whatever he's looking to get after this. You're going to play a guy who needs to be healthy for the future. Like I don't care if Becton sits the rest of the season. Obviously, I want to see him play, but you have a mid zone, and these are some of the plays where I say that Becton kind of relies a little bit too much on his strength. I want to see him defeat the hands right here, where this guy stacks him, 91 stacks him. He never really works to defeat the hands, and he just needs a base block him right here, just get his hands on and drive him. Where Becton is a little bit too more reliant on his one hand, where he just gets his right hand on him and never gets his left hand on him. He never really covers with his hips. He just continues to run him outside. He never maintains or never tries to get contact with the outside arm. He gets shed, and guy makes a tackle. Again, get two hands on, square your hips up to him, and drive him. Don't just kind of just throw one hand out there and run, because he's gonna be able to defeat that one hand pretty easily, no matter how strong you are. So, not the best play by Becton there. Let's up the tackle. Again, being fair, I think he's been fantastic. I think he's been better than every reason expected. I think his lows being decent play is much better than the lows of what we thought were going to be bad games or bad plays. He's been fantastic. I just want to preface that. People don't go crazy. I think he's going to be an elite tackle. Is he there yet? No. This is a good play. Movement where they run a tight zone split. Ideally, you want to see Becton get play side leverage and get inside leverage on 91. He's not able to. Is that Weiss or Weiss? I think it's Weiss Jr. is 91, but because he can't get inside leverage on him, he can't get that positional leverage. He's going to create physical leverage and create vertical displacement. Gets his hands inside and just going to drive him. Again, 2 yards inside, and then just throws them forward. Power. This is just power. Hands inside and just keeps running them up the field. So you can't get in front of him, but he does a good job with that vertical displacement. Three, 5, 13. Hope 3, 5. Face crossed. Okay. Right here, you have the 4, the 5, with this overhang. I just want to see him in this play have a tighter relationship to his guard. Again, he knows that this guy is going to get picked up by Lewis. They run the play action. But the thing you cannot do is get beat across your face. You know that he's engaged with 91 in terms of Lewis. Now, if they were sliding to the left and Lewis didn't have anybody to block, and you knew he was sliding left, shuffling left, then you could maybe have a little bit more room to get beat inside. But because of the alignment of these guys, you know that both you guys are going to get engaged or be engaged, so you can't let somebody beat you to the inside because Lewis is going to be occupied. He opens up too far to the outside. Again, too far to the outside, hole through the B gap, and gets his face crossed. Where again, you want to play inside out. So gets too far outside, face crossed, and lets up a pressure where Flacco does check it down to Griffin. But ideally, obviously, he's not going to give up a pressure there. Becton, block. Okay. Again, these are the plays where, some of them are great in terms of him creating highlight plays and driving guys off the ball. But these are the type of plays where, again, another outside zone, mid zone, where I say I want to see him get guys tight, get that arm bend and climb that tree, work off your insteps and run up guys. Don't just try to throw them. Where he engages at 21 again, and instead of him getting square, getting a good base and driving the guy up the field, he tries to throw guys and create those highlight plays, which are great sometimes. But again, what happens with these plays are if this guy doesn't go on his ass, now there's that disengagement, and now he has freedom to move laterally, move away from you. Where again, these guys are not going to be able to stack you and hold the ground. Where you creating that separation from them is playing to their strengths because they're more athletic than you. So plays to their strength. Yeah, he creates that 3-4 yards of that throwback. But if he were to get his hands on and drive him up the field right here, there's not this connection where now 21 finds a running back for the tackle. You see what I'm saying? Or he gets a piece of the tackle. So those are some of those plays where I don't want to see him just try to throw guys. 13 Becton hole. Okay, so he created a hole right here. Again, being fair, both sides. I love Becton. Like I don't want people to think, oh my God, he's down on Becton. That's not what it is. I just don't think every play he does is elite. He's a rookie still. That zero step that he does, allowing this guy to define himself. 91 works to him. Good leverage. His right hand's on the back a little bit right there, so the left hand's probably inside on the chest. Drives him outside. Look at that hole. Again, defining that gap. That's called defining the gap. If Becton doesn't run this guy outside as far as he does, and if he sits down, there's not a big gap through the B gap, and maybe he runs into Becton's ass. Maybe he's not able to widen his track area here from the interior pressure. So again, if Becton was more of here, then he runs into the back of him, and it's not a gain. But because he throws him outside, now he just created, instead of maybe a run stuff getting back to the line of scrimmage, he just created a 15-yard run, 15+ yard run for the Jets. So run behind Becton for sure. Great play right there. Good from the defense. Looks like I got about 7-ish more plays here, and I'm done. Good from the defense. Foley, I almost got put on my studs, but I got a 25. You guys, give me a second. I got to plug on my laptop. It was 100% before I started recording this, but I forgot how much it eats up of battery. So pause it. Nope. Who cares? Great podcasting. Nope. Do I care? I care obviously, but good from defense. Foley, 7 tackles, 4 solo with a few run stuffs. I got 3 plays of him. Definitely balled out this game, and I'm excited with the Jets front. I really am. Moving forward, that's the building block of the defense. Outside linebackers, middle linebackers, safeties. Maybe if they sign May, if they have May and Davis, okay. But corners, middle linebackers, outside linebackers, they need to completely build. But they have some guys even rotational guys, maybe starters, and Huff. Is he a full-time starter? No, but even if he's a rotational guy as a pass rusher, that's great. But Huff, Franklin Myers, Quinnen Williams, maybe Basham as a rotational guy, and Fado Kasi, I think they have some talent to work with on the defensive front. Run stuff for Fado Kasi, zero tech. He is powerful as shit. He really is powerful as hell. So comes off of the ball, gets his hands inside of 60, drives him backwards. His eyes come up. You can see again, he is in no shit position. His eyes come up. He sees the mesh point. Sees everybody going to Fado Kasi's right, to the offense's left. Plants hard, drops his hips, works to the running back tackle. I'll play it in full speed. It's just power. And then good job keeping active eyes and finding the running back. That's top notch. Done. Completely shuts that down. 21-35. Run stuff, 4th and 1. No better time than having run stuff on 4th and 1. Zero tech. Again, just straight up power. And it's really hard for a center to snap the ball and then get their hands on Fado Kasi. Just line them over centers and just destroy them all day. Because center's a hard freaking position to be able to snap a ball and get your hands up. So drives off the ball, hands inside, drives them back, 2+ yards. Again, hands inside. Leverage game. He's winning it. Drives him. Finds the running back. Tackle. And actually he forces a fumble right here where he punches it right there. And the ball somehow squirts out and the ball's here now. Looks like right here is where the fumble's caused. Rolls out. Runs stuff on 4th and 1. Great job by Fadokasi. 35. The run stuff. Pass rusher, not going to give you too much, but in terms of run stuffing guy, a 2-down guy, great. 0 tech. They try to wham block him. This is a wham block. The fullback. He sees this. Like, he's good job recognizing, takes a step upfield, sees the running back's track, sees the wham block coming, works to the wham block because if they're trying to kick you out or, trying to seal you inside, they're trying to go outside of you. So if he's coming from this angle, they're not going to try to go backside of you. So he knows that they're going to try to cut to his left. He takes on the wham block, keeps his eyes up on the running back right here, sees the track, drops his weight, sheds, tackle. Awesome play. John Franklin Myers, the next guy, gave a positive. Got 2 plays of him. 7:36. Again, really, really impressed with him. And the Rams film, I'm pissed I didn't put up the Rams film. So when I watched the Rams film, I was impressed with him. But then he got injured last year, so he didn't play. But he is right here. The 4-eye, loose 3. Call more of a 4-eye than a loose 3. Splitting hairs. Sees the right tackle coming to block him. Hands inside. Eyes inside. Patriots on a draw. He sees it coming. Active eyes. Again, he's controlling the chest right here, so he can do whatever he wants with the right tackle. Sees it. Comes over the top. Tackle. Good job. 36. Oh, stump and miss. Okay, so this is kind of good and bad. This is like the raw power that he has that I like. 4-eye right here. I like him like 4-eye 3 tech. Like that's his best position in terms of rushing the passer. I think he'd be an edge guy in terms of holding up against the run. But I think his power and speed versus guards is the best spot because he out athleticism them sometimes. But he is the picker of this TT stunt. So he's going to step into the A gap. Obviously, Henry Anderson's going to hold his guy to the right, distract him, hold his eyes. Fadokasi Franklin Myers going to crash inside. Lowers his shoulder. Absolutely. He effing destroys him right here. Like, just drops it. He just absolutely trucks him. That is fun to see. He literally launches him 3-4 yards, or at least 3 yards in the air. That is ridiculous. Now, after that, I'd like to see him make the tackle right here, square up and be a little more patient and get the sack, on Newton. It's hard to tackle Newton sometimes. So he breaks the arm tackle and Newton runs for a couple of yards. But this is fun. That is ridiculous. Man, he is airborne for like over a second. Oh, that is awesome. All right. Next player, I gave Basham a plus. It wasn't overly productive this game, but I still gave him a plus. Run stuff from him on this play. He is right here, 7 tech, stand up, 2-point stance. I really like this play in terms of his awareness of the jet motion right here, where he sees the jet motion coming, and a lot of guys will crash inside right here and be too aggressive, and this guy will flatten his angle out and loop around him, where he does a really, really good job maintaining his outside leverage right here. So hands on, sees the motion coming, maintains his outside leverage, because again, if you're going to get beat anywhere, get beat inside, not outside, because the pursuit comes from the inside, doesn't come from the outside. Nobody runs from the sideline. So widens, sees the receiver cutting inside, widens, instep, sheds, gets in on the tackle. Really, really good awareness right here to widen, get hands on, and then disengage and make the tackle. I really, really like that play from Bashan on that. Other than that, I put Davis a few good man reps. He filled in the run well, physical. He was a physical player. He played a man, slot, outside, which the outside people say, oh, he played outside corner when really he was a man defender on a tight end who flexed out. So like some of those, like, oh my God, like a lot of safeties play all over the place. Let's be honest. But overall, he played on a lot of spots of the field, a lot he had a lot of different roles. I'll say I have 3 plays of him. Davis, squeeze, run. Physical player. He's not the biggest guy, but I think he's a really versatile guy. I'm excited. Listen, me and Marcus said that he's really raw. Marcus might say that again when he comes on, and he will, because I don't think he's going to completely change his idea of him. But in terms of what he can be, because of his physicality, because of his work ethic, all that stuff, I'm excited for his future. I just think he's a little bit raw for now. But comes off of the left edge right here in the run game, fills off of the edge, is like the force player, sees the fullback leading. Again, he wants to squeeze the run. Good job not taking on the inside shoulder. Again, allowing him to bounce outside. If anything, squeeze it, take on the outside shoulder with your inside, and force the running back into a contest or into a congested hole. Drops his weight, squeezes the run. The running back runs into his guy because he did a good job squeezing it, and pretty much makes a tackle. Like I know that somebody else maybe got credit for the tackle right here, but he literally drops his weight and lifts this guy off of his feet, and they trip over each other. So that's Davis's tackle. So really, really good job filling in the run game right there for sure, or squeezing in the run game. 23. All right. Davis roughing. Yeah. This is just the soft NFL stuff, in my opinion. There's illegal contact down the field from this year right here, but Davis off the left edge rushes the passer. The tight end chips and releases, so he blocks and then releases. Davis engages with him. Obviously, disengages as the tight end releases. Takes a track to Newton, and people, oh, well, he left his feet a little bit. He was just lunging towards him to cover ground. I don't think he was really like jumping. I think he was just lunging to deliver a pop one and to close that ground quicker. So I'm not going to kill him for that. And of course, they called the penalty, the roughing the passer, because he had the ball and you're getting a sack. Like it's not Davis's fault that he had the ball. It's freaking 6'5", 235, 240-pound quarterback. So he does a good job, both keeping his eyes up. It's not helmet to helmet. He drops his shoulder into him. It's a shoulder tackle. But because of the contact, Newton's helmet drops into him a little bit. So I'm going to give him a positive for this. Again, disengages. Clean tackle. Eyes are up. It's not helmet to helmet. Again, you can't just because if you're going to come soft into Cam Newton and just try to wrap him up and take him down, what is Cam Newton going to do? He's going to break it. You have to deliver some pop to Newton, and he does. You can see him. He gets up after this play, and his eyes are like kind of whacked out. But I think that's a clean sack. The NFL is just soft now. Again, it's not helmet to helmet because of the contact. His helmet like ducks into Davis. Maybe it's a little bit right there on the bottom of it, but it is what it is. I think that's soft. I do. Good freaking explosion hit, though. It's not a fun time for the quarterback. Whop. Oh, yeah. Good play by Davis. I don't care about the penalty. Soft-ass NFL. 29. TD saving tackle. Okay. He's at the top right here, or top left. Crack toss. They both crack. Davis, good job tracking the run right here. Wants to get to the outside. He obviously knows that they're trying to get to the outside right here. Outruns 47 to the sideline. Drops his helmet into him. delivers a nice shot. Boom. Save the TD. They get a TD the next play, I think, but still good play by Davis. Other than that, I think I'm pretty much done. Special teams overall, man had two punts, one long of 49, and then one he pinned him inside the 10, I believe. Sergio was 2 for 2 on field goals, long of 50, 3 for 3 on extra points. I think he has a job over Ficken. We have no game to review bye week, so we don't have a roster, even though I haven't been going over them anyway, because who cares? Injuries. Hopefully Becton gets healthy. It seems like Darnold might not even play the next game against the Chargers, but we'll see. We'll talk about that next week. How to win. It's a bye week. Pick'ems. Do that quickly. Last week, I picked the Pats. They beat the Jets 30-27. I picked the Packers against the Niners. They won 34-17. I picked the Ravens against the Colts. The Ravens won 24-10. I picked the Titans against the Bears. The Titans won 24-17. I picked the Vikings. They beat the Lions 34-20. I picked the Texans. They beat the Jaguars 27-25. I freaking wish the Jaguars got that 2-point conversion and beat the Texans. I really do, because the Jets having a 2-game or that 1-game buffer to win, I would feel so much better than the Jets winning 1 game and having a 2-pick. I really want the freaking Jags to win, but they got like the Steelers, the Packers coming up. So hopefully they beat like the Browns or some other team, but Texans beat them. I picked the Seahawks. They got beat pretty badly by the Bills, 44-34. It wasn't that close in my opinion. The Bills blew them out pretty much. I picked the Falcons. They beat the Broncos at home, 34-27. And I think every single person picked the Bucks to beat the Saints, and the Saints won 38-3, which was shocking. This week, not the best lineup of games, but we have the 3-4-1 Eagles at the 2-7 Giants. Again, some of these games I just had to pick just to at least have 5-6 games. But I'm gonna take the Eagles on the road against the Giants. The Giants are pretty competitive, so I'm actually not that confident in this one because the Eagles are so hot and cold. The Giants might actually win this one, but I'm gonna take the Eagles. I'm not concerned about the Giants having to win anymore because I really don't think the Jets are going to win 2 games. The 7-2 Bills at the 5-3 Cardinals. Bills are a little bit hot and cold, and the Cardinals are on a little bit of a hot streak, but I'm going to take the Bills on the road, 2 road teams in a row. The 2-6 Redskins at the 3-5 Lions. Again, these are games that are not necessarily easiest to pick, but I'm going to take the Lions at home. I don't know if God is healthy, though, so that might be a big part of that, but Allen had that bad injury, so I'll take the Lions. The 6-2 Seahawks at the 5-3 Rams. Seahawks coming off of a blowout loss against the Bills, and the Rams are playing pretty well. So, do the Seahawks bounce back, or are they going to be on a little bit of a schneid? Worst pass defense in the NFL. Adams is a part of that. Listen, I know people are going to shit on Adams, and I get that. But at the same time, should you have your safety playing your man coverage on Stephon Diggs? Probably not. So good job, Pete Carroll. The next game, the 2-6 Chargers at the 5-3 Dolphins. This is just because are the Dolphins really as good as they have been? Are they going to really go to 6-3 and be like in the top running for that wild card spot? Do the Chargers bounce back? They're always in games, so I think the Chargers can keep up with them a little bit, but still, I'm going to take the Dolphins at home. And the Monday night game, I think this is the Monday night game. The 3-5 Vikings at the 5-3 Bears. Really, really interesting game. Vikings, again, started the season bad, had been bouncing back, had been playing better. They could still be in the running for a wild card spot. Obviously, they just have to string some games together. The Bears were 5-0. They lost 3 in a row. So, did the Bears bounce back? Divisional game. Are the Vikings as good as they have been the last couple of games? Really interesting game, I think. But I'm going to take. I don't know why I put that. I'm gonna take the Vikings. So to recap, I'm taking the Eagles at the Giants. I'm taking the Bills at the Cardinals. I'm taking the Lions at home against the Redskins. I'm taking the Seahawks at the Rams. I'm taking the Dolphins at home against the Chargers, and I'm taking the Vikings on the road against the Bears. The standings, we still have Danny at number 1. I guess it's 3 games back, but really 6 games in the win-loss. Danny is number 1 at 38-14. We have Kyle at 36-16 at number 2. We have a 3-way tie for third between myself, Marcus, and Vinny at 32-20. 6th place, we have Matt at 31-21. 7th, we have Tom at 29-23. And then last place in 8th place, but still with a winning record. Rob at 27-25. So appreciate everybody for listening. I'll be back again Sunday, 4:00 Eastern Standard Time with Marcus Coleman. Again, played on the Jets for 5, 6, 7 years. The Texans for a couple of years, the Texans for a couple of years, and the Cowboys. Played DB in the NFL. Wasn't a backup or anything like that. Like, has over 20 interceptions. Like, legit dude. Good friend of mine. So come on, hop on the live stream, ask him some questions. We'll have some fun. We'll discuss his thoughts about the Jets. We'll talk about some other fun topics, things like that. So I'll see you guys on Sunday at 4:00. Thanks for listening.